Aishvaryat, from opulence, avarohati, falls down. Translation. The sages continued, O great hero, for this reason you should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If their spiritual life is spoiled because of your activities, you will certainly fall down from your opulent and royal position. Purport. Formerly, in practically all parts of the world, there were monarchies. But gradually, as monarchy declined from the ideal life of religion to the godless life of sense gratification, monarchies all over the world were abolished. However, simply abolishing monarchy and replacing it with democracy is not sufficient, unless the governmentmen are religious and follow in the footsteps of great religious personalities. Satema vinashetvira prajanang kshema lakshana yasmin vinashtin ripatir aishvaryat avarohati. The sages continued, O great hero, for this reason you should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If their spiritual life is spoiled because of your activities, you will certainly fall down from your opulence and royal position. This canto starts explaining the story of Dhruva Maharaj, who was an extraordinary devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his most favored parts of Bhagavatam were the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj. Both were small children, but still they were very advanced and determined devotees. Now, Dhruva Maharaj, he felt injured by the words of his stepmother, went into the forest and practiced meditation under the explanation of Narada Muni, who gave him the mantra to meditate on Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And finally, Dhruva Maharaj, Vishnu appeared in front of him and gave him all benedictions, although Dhruva Maharaj did not want any more benediction. When he finally saw Lord Vishnu personally, directly in front of him. But he was king for a long time, and then his descendants also were great personalities. Dhruva Maharaj was the grandson of Lord Brahma, great-grandson, of Lord Brahma. Very near to such a great, pure devotee like Lord Brahma, the founder of our Sampradaya. And Dhruva Maharaj was still a great devotee, one of the greatest devotees, and his descendants also were great devotees. Finally, came down to Maharaj Anga, who also was a wonderful Vaishnava, a very, very good king and great Vaishnava. But he was married to Suniti, if I remember correctly. His wife was also a great personality. But yes, she was the daughter of the death personified. Special personality. So, when they got a child, the son, he inherited the qualities, many of the qualities of his mother. And he was very cruel. We also speak about cruel death is coming, cruel death. And Vena, he embodied this cruelty. He liked to kill, when he was small, he killed his friends and playing commerce just for fun, just because he liked to do it. And he tortured small animals, small children, and finally his father, King Anga, he was so frustrated by the behavior of his son that he just left the kingdom, went into the forest, renounced everything, practiced renunciation and devotion, and finally went directly back to the spiritual world. When the king was gone, so many dacoits, thieves and rogues came up, and they started harassing the populace. They plundered the houses, tortured the people. And the great sages, the Brahmanas, who were the advisors, whose position was the advisors of the king, they saw, no, it cannot go on like this, there must be a king. They knew that Vena was a cruel personality, that he was not qualified at all. But still, because he was the son of his father, they enthroned him, made him the king. And Vena, he went on acting as he had done as a child. And he behaved very irreligiously. He forbade the people to worship the deities, to perform sacrifices, and they ordered them to worship him instead of Vishnu. Later on, the Brahmanas, they came to him and they were talking among themselves. This cannot go on like this. This guy is spoiling all the people here in the kingdom. So we go to him, talk to him, and if he doesn't change, if he doesn't act properly, we will remove him from life. He will kill him. So they came and very politely addressed King Maharaj Vena. They called him Veera, O hero. He was strong. Vena, he chastised all the rogues and thieves, but he was the greatest rogue. So he fulfilled one function, but then he tried destroying the spiritual life, the spiritual advancement of the people in his state. And the sages, the Brahmanas, could not allow this to happen. And they explained it to him. You should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If you go on like this, if you go on acting like this, you will get bereft of all your good karma, and you will fall down from your position of a rich, famous, powerful king. You will lose this position, you will fall down. They told him directly. Well, Vena didn't obey. Later on, by mantras, they cursed him to die. Here they're talking about his function as a king. The king should help his citizens to lead a spiritual, a religious life. If he doesn't do so, the king said, but he gets the sixth part of the karma of his citizens. If he acts piously, if he inspires the people in his country to act piously, to make spiritual progress, then he gets, if I remember correctly, then he gets a sixth of their good karma, of their spiritual advancement. If he destroys, if he makes them act impiously, he gets a sixth of their bad karma. That's how it works. And the purport, Prabhupada explains. Formerly, there were monarchies all over the world. And the Bhagavatam is full of the stories of the great kings. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, a descendant of King Pandu, the great, great king, a great Kshatriya. Still Arjuna. How's it go? Sakho. Because you're my friend and my devotee, you will be able to understand this Bhagavad Gita. Saeva yamayatita bhaktosimi sakacheti. Yes, because you're my friend and devotee, therefore you can understand. And Maharaj Parikshit is the recipient of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. No? Parikshit Maharaj listens to Shukadev Goswami, son of Vyasadeva, of Srila Vyasadeva. Parikshit Maharaj, he was the king. He ruled the earth very nicely. He banned Kali Yuga from his kingdom. Parikshit Maharaj was a great king. The Bhagavatam is full of instructions given to great kings. Why? Because the kings are responsible for the lives of their dependents, for their citizens. The king should be, like Prabhupada explains, he should instruct, lead the people to lead an ideal life of religion, act religiously. It doesn't mean that everybody has to follow a certain religion. Prabhupada explains often in his classes, but everyone should follow his religion in the proper way, whatever it is. And it is said, well, that religion which makes one, that helps one develop love for Krishna, that is real religion. Nowadays, there are also some religions who are spoiled, who don't have the ingredients to make spiritual life. Religions that allow to drink alcohol, that even serve alcohol in front of the altar. That is the blood of the Lord. Drink some wine. Or eat meat. If they don't have this basic knowledge, then also these religions, they don't really work. It's better than nothing, Prabhupada writes. It's good to at least spread the concept of the existence of God. That is something, that's all right. But the king should be well versed. He should know what is real spiritual life, and he should instruct and inspire his citizens to follow this, to worship Krishna, not just lead a material life, following the senses down to hell, but the king inspires his citizens to study the Vedas, to make spiritual advancement. And the king is instructed by brahmanas, by great sages, who observe, who watch his activities and who give him good advice if he doesn't know, and to also try to correct him if necessary. And the king is ready to accept it. He's thankful for his advisors. So in this way, the whole society comes to the platform of Brahminical life, of following a spiritual process. But nowadays, there are only very few monarchies, and these monarchies, these monarchs, are kind of useless. like Krishna says in Gita. They don't know what to do and what not to do. They consider religion to be irreligion and vice versa. They don't know the process of leading a spiritual life, and so they are not able to instruct the citizens. Once we were in Jaipur in 1983, and there were some devotees, Pancharatna and Ramanuja, not the famous Pancharatna, but another devotee. They were leading us around and showing us the places, this huge fort. And they told us the old king of Jaipur, he went out just with a sword and he killed a tiger. But they said the present king, he's just playing golf with Prince Charles and such like, people like that. He doesn't know. He's just trying to enjoy life in a noble fashion, in a so-called noble fashion. But he cannot really instruct and lead his citizens. He's just trying to enjoy the position. Kings like that, they are useless. They're just kind of, kind of hobbies of the state. The state keeps a king, pays them quite a lot of money so that they can drive around in a chariot pulled by some beautiful horses and wave outside. The Queen of England, she was waving like this to the citizens. Otherwise, well, she gave some speeches. Devotees I know, they listened to her talks and they liked it. Okay, be good and things like this. And there's a famous, or I don't know, is or was a famous sculptor in England who made a marble slab for a temple in England. And George Harrison, he had so much money, he donated the manor, the now Bhaktivedanta manor, and he asked this famous sculptor to make a marble slab for the altar. And he gave him, he told him about Krishna, he gave him a Bhagavad Gita, and the sculptor was interested. And later on, he was asked by the royal family to make a statue of Queen Elizabeth. So she was sitting down, and he started chiseling on his marble block. She was quite bored. She like many Singadev. She was bored. So this famous sculptor, he gave her the Bhagavad Gita, and the Queen of England, she was reading in the Gita, while she had to sit there and look around, being portrayed in marble. So she read the Bhagavad Gita, something. Better than nothing. But in general, now in Greece, they dissolved the royal, this position of king. And there's a prince in Greece, he such and such name, such and such of Greece. That was his name. He was supposed to become king or something. Now they removed him from this position. They dissolved the royal family. Now he's looking for a name. He doesn't have a second name. His problem. Also, of course, he doesn't know anything. All the kings over the world, all over the world, they don't know. And they have no power also. They have no interest, they have no knowledge, and they don't have the power to instruct the people, to lead the citizens of a country. So today, the present fashion is dictatorship in some countries, but generally it's democracy. And Prabhu called it demon crazy, democracy. The people, they have no spiritual education. Almost everybody doesn't know anything, just following the senses, working to make a living. And otherwise, they don't know much. They're sitting in front of during the day, and in the evening, they're sitting in front of the TV or sitting in the pub. That's what they do. So they have no education. They don't know what's right and wrong. So these people are asked to give their vote for a certain person, and they vote somebody who promises, they vote that person who makes the best promises. Yes, we will decrease the tax so that you have more money for yourself, and telling them all kinds of things, all kinds of lies. Later on, it doesn't work. Oh, I'm so sorry, but we need some more money for this and for that, so we have to increase the tax a little bit. And awfully so. Next time they vote somebody else, and the show goes on like this. I said, democracy, you can choose, you can vote for a fool or for a rascal. People who don't know anything. Janaka Pandit says, never trust a politician. There was a German chancellor, Helmut Kohl, this huge fat guy, and who somehow brought East and West Germany together. I saw him once in Westerland, an island in the North Sea. And he was walking around, looked at each other. He wasn't chancellor yet. Huge, fat. And I read somewhere that he regularly, every year, Helmut Kohl, he went to India to make a Panchakarma retreat. So he knew something. He also got a Bhagavad Gita by a devotee. What was it? Sorry. And he was chancellor they elected him several times, one time after the other. And he once said, yes, as a politician, you are forced to lie. Sometimes you have to tell lies. He directly told it, honestly told it. Yes, politicians lie. So, Janaka Pandit, never trust a politician or an animal with horns or claws or fangs, teeth. Don't trust politicians. Still, today, people, they don't have chance. They don't have another chance but to put their face in and to vote some politician. They're trying. In his entourage is this Tulsi Gabbard. She was a Democrat before. She made her oath on the Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. One person is there. And Siddhanta Prabhu, who made these Memories of Srila Prabhupada series, these videos, Siddhanta Prabhu. And he also published books, Memories of Srila Prabhupada. I have all 6 of them. All devotees, all Prabhupada disciples telling, memorizing their exchanges with Srila Prabhupada, their experience, their adventures with Srila Prabhupada. Very beautiful books and series. One must watch it on YouTube. Memories of Srila Prabhupada. This Prabhu Siddhanta, somewhere on Facebook, he published in school you get this Zeugnis in Deutsch.
Marks.
Huh?
Marks.
Certificate. The marks, this you get this at the end of the year. They give you a paper where there are the different marks. You get the grades for. And Siddhanta Prabhu, he published this paper of Donald Trump, and he was not good. He was bad in all parts of education. He's now there. And the other choice was Kamala Harris, half Indian. Sorry, I'm so much expert, and sometimes I read the news and the internet. Her melody, her war cry was a melody by some female singer. Freedom, freedom, beyond sea, freedom. This freedom means she promised all the women, yes, if you vote me, there will be free abortion, and you can live as you like. Freedom for everybody. So many people like that. Oh yes, freedom, we want freedom. Almost she got voted. But now there's another person who doesn't know beans. Difficult all over the world. It's like this in Germany and in the other countries. The nationalists, they come up, populists, so on. There's nobody. There was in South Africa one politician, and he's still the most famous and the most appreciated politician, Nelson Mandela. He left the body. He was in prison for 20 years by the government there. And there are so many pictures of Nelson Mandela visiting temples, Nelson Mandela making obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, talking with Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. Yeah? He was a good politician. After he came out of jail, his jail keeper, who took care of him for 20 years, he wrote a book about Mandela, describing his very good qualities, describing the personality of Nelson Mandela. But he was the rare exemption. Otherwise, all the politicians, Prabhupada right, there are no personalities who are religious and follow in the footsteps of great religious personalities. India, okay. Narendra Modi, he's doing something. He visited the temples sometimes. Narasimha Rao, the former president in India, he gave several talks in temples. When in Delhi there was the opening of the new temple, Narasimha Rao, he was there and he gave the opening speech praising Srila Prabhupada. Also Modi, he praised Srila Prabhupada often, quite often. He could understand, and he's trying to ban cow slaughter in India, but still, India is the country that has the biggest export of meat. India is the biggest exporter of meat. Still, Narendra Modi, he tries, obviously, he cannot just go there like Maharaj Parikshit. He cannot go there on a cart and a sword and said, "Stop killing the cow or I kill you." He cannot do this. He doesn't have the power. He is not in the position. Well-meaning, but doesn't work really. Something is better than nothing. But in general, it's democracies led by simple politicians who cannot and who don't want to help the people. They just want to help themselves. They want to become popular, have power, famous, money. But they're useless. They don't know anything. They cannot help anybody. So, once the devotees asked Prabhupada, "Oh Prabhupada, what? Shouldn't we try to take over the world?" Something like this. And Prabhupada said, yes, if you were qualified, Krishna could let you take over the world in 18 days. That means you are not qualified yet. There are many very qualified devotees, but we are not yet in the position to give instructions to the heads of state. Normally, the heads of state that should listen to great religious personalities. They should follow great religious personalities. Real Christians. There are some Christians who are vegetarian. I forgot. Here in Germany also, Christian Science, they are vegetarians. But in general, the monarchs, they don't have spiritual way to engage the people in spiritual processes according to their religion. They don't have knowledge, they don't have connection to great religious personalities. The greatest personality at present is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, my books will be the law books for the coming 10,000 years. And that was not just cheap self-praise, or Prabhupada did not say this because he had a false ego, but Srila Prabhupada could see the future. Several times Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness will take over the world by cultural conquest. Sometime the people will realize, they will understand that this Krishna consciousness is something good. It's not just an obscure sect, people running around in bed sheets, screaming around in the streets, banging on the drums. Nobody understands who they are and what they want. But the people, when they start reading the books, maybe visiting the temple, get to know the devotees, they will develop more and more appreciation. Some, when I was young, 50 years ago, say, vegetarianism was very rare, was obscure. I became vegetarian when I was 19 or so. And that created a problem in the family. Vegetarianism was very rare. Nowadays, there are 10% of the people are vegetarian. If you go in the shop, look at stuff, on so many packages it's written vegan, vegan. Once the devotees bought some pasta, some noodles to make what's it called? Lasagna, exactly. And there was a package. Wow. Thank you. Lasagna, want to make lasagna, and they got some lasagna, some lasagna plates, noodle plates, flat things. And on the package it was written vegan. Okay, devotees bought it. Then in the temple they looked at it. Oh, may contain eggs. That's not vegan. But so many things it's written vegan people, although they don't know what it is, but they try to follow that. That's something. Also this fashion of a seeker, it gets spread more and more. I saw a photo of two people, a policeman and some criminal. Policeman was leading the criminal they were chained together, something. The photo was taken from the back, and both of them had a seeker, kind of seeker, the criminal and the policeman. It's getting a fashion. Now there are these punks, they have their thing on the head. Yeah, that's also old-fashioned now. And formerly hippies, long hair. Now it's the fashion. People, they try to distinguish themselves. They want to be something special. And the most special thing, the most outrageous, far-out thing are the devotees with their seekers on the head. So people, quite some people follow this fashion. You see it more and more often. Once I saw a person in the shop. I said, "Oh, Haribol." He had a seeker. He was shaved, had a seeker, but no, he was not a devotee. He did not know what I mean. Hello. It gets a fashion more and more. In the summer, the ladies and the girls walk around with the bare belly, like the ladies have their cholies. It's also a fashion now to go around like this. Sika, cholies. Bhakti Maharaj, he put Facebook some photos of famous female actresses wearing saris, wearing a sari and going to some festivities, because it looks very elegant, very unique, very rare, and not just some obscene show. They walked in saris, famous actresses. So Krishna consciousness will take over the world by cultural conquest. People will realize more and more that Krishna consciousness is a good thing. There's the prediction in the Vedas that there will be a time of 10,000 years in this Kali Yuga that will be just like in the Golden Age. Everybody is a devotee, living a spiritual life. And this period started with the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 something years ago. So 500 years are gone, 9,500 years. It will last still. So we are still in the very beginning. It did not really manifest so much, this golden age. But it's manifesting more and more. I gave some examples, but so many books go out. And so many books. Devotees on the street, they meet people. Oh yes, I have the books and I read them and they're very interesting. More and more people are talking like this. They may be not in the position yet, but by and by, Srila Prabhupada said, his books will be the law books for the coming 10,000 years. It's manifesting more and more. People accept Krishna consciousness more and more. So, this time started, it will manifest. After that, Kali Yuga will go on like anything. But these democracies, people will realize that is kind of leaders that are useless. Like King Vena. People will realize it. We just have to go on with following Srila Prabhupada, trying to be tools in the hands of Srila Prabhupada.
follow his instruction, try to act for as he desires, as he wanted us to, and then we will be able to give Prabhupada's mercy to more and more people, inspire more and more. Is there any question about this?
I want to say that people are free to elect pious leaders if they want. So in a democracy we can vote for a charismatic person who wants to establish religion. But people usually don't want such a leader. They don't want such a leader.
Yes. Devotees tried, and they had a political party, in God we trust. I forgot the name of this disciple of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, yes, he inspired him, yes, do this. Try to get a political position. But so very few people voted him, only a few devotees. Well, very, very small percentage still. Here in Germany are 200-300 devotees, and there's 82-83 millions of people. So 200 people is not a high percentage. It's not 60% yet. It will take some time. So we don't hold our breath. We cannot wait for it, but we know that it will come. We know that it will happen. Not in our generation, but in the following generations. These foolish politicians, they will disappear, or if they are intelligent enough, they will take the advice of persons who have spiritual knowledge. They will be able. The Queen of England, she was reading Gita. Helmut Kohl, he got a Gita. He was the most famous in Germany, most appreciated. It will, slowly it's happening. Yeah? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Akhila Prabhu ki jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Get something. There's an operation on the knee some months ago.
Thank you very much. Please bless us, Prabhu. We were in Sweden to distributing books in the autumn. We came from Hungary and we are going back to Hungary. But we also yes. I know him very much. And by your blessing I can continue my spiritual life.
We were in Krishna Bhagavad.
Yeah, I know. There is a marriage. It's a huge problem. Beautiful, yeah?
Yes, it was really good, really nice. Yes, right.
Please come back again.
Very impressive
Yes.
project.
Yes.
Yeah. Sivaram Swami was there so for such a long time,
Yeah.
staying there. And
Yes.
of course,
Inspiring
inspiring.
and inspiring every day.
Yes. That's what it means.
Yes.
A real leader.
Yes.
And then such a project develops.
Yes.
Of course, there should be more devotees.
Yes.
Such.
And it's not so easy to make new devotees now
Yes.
these days. We are new generation.
Yajanti Hisumeva Sat.
Yeah.
Somebody who's intelligent, he will join this
Yes.
movement.
Yes.
And not so many.
Yes. Not so many. But it's progressing. Yes.
Thousands.
Yes. It's progressing. Increasing the book distribution these days. Few devotees they went to Akhila and study techniques of
Shishika. Rigupata.
the other one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
5,000 books.
Yes.
No, it's
Yeah.
great enthusiasm.
Yeah. And now these days, devotees in Hungary, they selling sets on the street.
Here in Germany, it's also started.
Yeah, you started.
Packages. Christian. You can give it
full
for Christmas.
set.
Full set.
Full set, you know,
How many points? Lots of points.
Lots of points and a lot of credits for the people.
Counts.
That's what Srila Prabhupada
I'm
designed.
looking for
Set
points.
up the sets in each home. People have to have it. And that's good. And Shiva Maharaj, you do it. So, please, you are most welcome back to Hungary anytime. We have a beautiful festival, Janmashtami, Radhastami festival. Listen to people.
I would like to see my brother-in-law, Arjun Krishna.
Yes.
He was there.
Yes.
I was out selling prasadam,
Yes.
and I didn't know that he would come here, so I made a new batch, some 100, now 230
Yes.
bags, and
Yes.
I wanted to distribute, and he just appeared. He wanted to go to Switzerland.
Oh.
The last 2 days he wanted to be here with us,
Oh, well.
but then somehow he had a problem with the car, parking lot and stuff.
Oh,
So he stayed here, I didn't know it.
oh.
You were here also,
I don't know.
when he was here?
I don't know.
Yesterday we left.
Yeah, yeah. But I yesterday evening we arrived for Sweden, so.
We know all about you. I think that's Danish, I don't know.
Yes. So, please buy your blessings.
Try my blessing.
Continue.
If we exchange blessings, I make a good bargain. Let's exchange blessings.